Welcome back to another episode of Self-Made, The Makings of Me. I'm your host, Cleveland Bafford, and I want to thank you once again for tuning in to my channel and following along with me as I continue to share my life story to you and the rest of the world. Like I say, this is the World Wide Web. Anyone in the world got access to this channel, and so I'm reaching out to any and everyone who may benefit from what I have to offer. If they can glean something from my life experience, they can help them better situate themselves, position themselves as they move through life, navigate through life, then my efforts wouldn't have been in vain. If I could just help one person, it's worth it to me. I'm still in the third decade of my life story. At the beginning part of it, we transitioned. Obviously, we come through California and didn't have such a positive experience there, and end up joining the military. And after having joined the military, we went through basic training and AIT and permanent party and getting administrative discharge and being sent on my way back home. And having gotten home again and still feeling the same anxiety and depression that I had always felt being around my family for a lifetime. And I struck out again and went to New York. And I ended up in Rochester, New York. And I pretty much stayed there for a year. And things kind of began to unravel once again and fall apart. So I requested a funding from my uncle back in my hometown, and he sent me the money. And so now I'm finding myself back home again. And I know you probably asking yourself, well, why do he keep going back home? Every time he goes home, he have these anxieties, the depression. There's nothing really positive going on. No love, no sharing of any kind of information. And why do you keep going home? Why do you keep, going back to the place that caused you this type of anxiety and frustration? And I would say to you, that's a good damn question. But at the time, I must say that my reasons at the time was that I always had this internal love for my family, this internal understanding that family is important, and I just couldn't understand, what my family was missing. Why wasn't, we really clicking, like, and thriving, as a family? Why is this distance, this subtle, competition or, distancing of oneself? Why is this? I could never figure it out, but I always just had this instinctive feeling in my gut, the family matters, and that's why I kept coming back home. I just felt that, I guess subconsciously I was wishfully thinking that things may have changed. Things just might be different this time. I was always hopeful. I've always been hopeful for my family, because I love my family. I always loved my family. Always, as long as I can remember, I love my family. I never hated my family. Despite all the dysfunction and madness that you may have heard me express in my life story, in my heart of hearts, I love my family. And that's real talk. I love my family. There's never been a time I didn't love my family. Despite all the madness, I love my family. And that comes from an internal desire to want to be loved and needed and accepted, by the very people that's in my bloodline. And I was finding it hard to understand why wasn't I receiving the type of acceptance that I needed to feel a part and partial of something bigger than myself. I just couldn't understand why it wasn't there, because I felt it in me. So I was like, why is it in you, the rest of us? But of course, you're dealing with a man at the time, had a limited capacity to rationalize or, to analyze, had any type of critical thinking skills to put, various concepts of that type of socialization together. I didn't understand. I just knew I loved my family and something was wrong, and I didn't have the answer for it. I didn't have no clue how to address it or nothing. I just knew something was amiss. So I find myself back in Lansing again, and this time I'm on general assistance, uh, for young men that's struggling. So I'm able to provide some room and board for myself, and just kind of maintain myself for a while until I figure some things out of how I want to move. This time moving forward, and I find myself in a funk. I never really could figure anything out, which way to go, which way to move. I've left this city many times on journeys in search of a new beginning, in hope of finding myself. To no avail, to no avail. And so I'm like, man, I leave, I can't really function, I come back, I'm dealing with anxiety, depression, stress. So I'm in a funk right now. I don't know which way to go. I'm just, existing. I'm around 22 right now, 22, 23, and so this was a very pivotal moment in my life, because now I'm getting a little older now, and I'm still finding myself in the same predicament. I feel entrapped. I can't get out of this madness that I'm in. I can't think my way out of it. I'm in it, mentally, emotionally, and I have no clue where's the end, where's the opening at, the door to freedom of self. I have no clue. And as time go on, and time go on, and time go on, I'm just spiraling out of control. I mean, just more and more confused, on top of confusion, depression on top of depression, anxiety, stress. The more I'm around my family, the more this situation is compounding. I'm reluctant to go anywhere because I done tried it two or three times. Multiple times when I was gone, I tried it again and again, over and over and over, while I was on the road from place to place to place to place to place to place, and I still didn't find a solution. There still didn't find a solution to my problems, to my confusion, no enlightenment, no understanding of what I wanted to do, which way I wanted to go, how I want to navigate through this world, through this life, through my life journey. So it's building up now. And I'm feeling suffocated right now, at this point in my life, because I don't have no thinking skills. I can't figure nothing out, But if you look at me on the outside, I always had a calm, cool demeanor about myself. I didn't wear my stress and frustration on my face. I try to look happy. I try to look, like, everything was okay when it really wasn't. So no one really, I never set any alarms for anybody like, hey, man, you look kind of sad, man. What's going on with you? I never projected that type of persona. I always try to be cool, calm, collective, you know, giving the impression that I can hold my own when I know I couldn't, but at least I was trying to fake it until I make it. In other words, I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know how, to tell people, hey, I'm trapped. To even say that was embarrassing. The thought of going to tell somebody, hey, I'm trapped. I don't know nothing. I don't know where to go. Can you help me? It felt embarrassing to even think of doing something of that nature. So I didn't. I didn't talk to nobody about my frustrations or anything, in which somebody probably could have helped me, but I didn't reveal that inner struggle that I was going through. So there came a time where I ended up catching a sexual assault. Something I'm not proud of, something that still bothers me today to even have to share that information with my inner circle, people that's close to me, who really want to get to know me and where I come from and who I am and what I've been through. But it changed my life in such a profound way. And it took me on another journey that I don't even know how I made it through to be here to share this video with you today. So I find myself in jail, the county jail, facing these criminal sexual misconduct charges on an adult female. And so I get a lawyer and a public defender lawyer. Of course, I didn't have no support, no family support, nobody coming to support me quite naturally. My family is embarrassed. It really wasn't there for me anyway. But now with this, on top of the situation, being a part of the equation, they really, step back and out of the way. So I'm going to find myself fighting this case in the county by myself. So the public defender, by the way, I had to learn that no means no the hard way. I'm taking full accountability for my actions. I'm not proud of it, but I did what I did. It is what it is. And so the public defender brings a plea bargain to me in 10 years. And so I accepted. I accepted because I knew I was wrong, and it seems like a fair sentence, given the seriousness of the offense, you know. So, you know, you're in the county, you hear people